Before we continue on, there are some important things that you need to know so that we are speaking the same language, right? We are in lesson 1, understanding terminology. And so this is so that along the course, along the path of the course, you understand what we're referring to, and just, to know how I define what we are speaking about. So let's dig right on in. What is spirituality? And so the spiritual journey is really this consciousness of where you are in life, right? So it doesn't have anything to do with where you are. It's just the consciousness of where you are and where you want to go and where you've been. Okay. So in essence, it's really understanding and or getting to know who you are as a spirit. Okay. And so the word spirituality comes from the truth, right? Your divine being, right? Because as we go along in these definitions, we'll dig deeper into energy. So we're not talking about the spirit as a form of energy right now. We're just talking about what is your truth and who you are as a divine being on this planet Earth. Right. And also, some people refer to spirituality in the sense of religiousness. Okay. And so during this course, our term spirituality will not refer to the religiousness of the word, but as it relates to the truth of who you are and your divine being. Okay. What is a path? You're going to hear me say this word a lot because now we've already defined spirituality and where the consciousness of where you are, but the path is where you are going. Okay. The path is the people that you meet along the way. It's, the what you're learning, what you're creating, and it's the direction and where you're headed towards finding your truth. So as we had talked about in spirituality, it's knowing your truth and the divine being of who you are. But the path takes you to your truth. And let me just say this, your truth is going to be ever evolving. The core basic of what your truth is may, the core of it will always be there, but there are going to be some like little tangibles on the outside that's going to evolve along the way. And when I say evolve, it's not changing in this whole drastic manner. It's really just digging deeper into the definition of your truth. So you may have a broader definition of your truth, but as you go along in your path, you will be constantly adding to that definition of what your truth is. Okay. And so if you want to get into the master's level, as I stated in the introductory video of a path, then you can divvy off your journey, right? Of your spirit, your divine being, and go down into a more targeted path like hoodoo or Santeria or Ifa or the Kabbalah, being a kitchen witch, whatever it may be. Okay. And it's also okay to modify your path along the way. I know I have. My path has been, a little bit over here, a little bit over there, and then I went straight down here, and then I had to make a left turn, and it's okay. So I don't want you to judge yourself for such. So the path is what it is. What is manifestation? Manifestation is defined as, an event, an action, something that materializes into thin air. I was like, oh yeah, thin air, right? So it's taking the intangible and making it, is intangible a word? Sometimes I make up words. It's taking the intangible and making it tangible. So this is a really big topic because a lot of things get lost uh, between that point of intangibility to tangibility, where, a lot of people in the manifestation world say, see it, feel it. But a lot of people don't really talk about what happens in between after you see it and feel it. And in this course, we're going to talk about what to do in between so that it does become tangible. Because a lot of people do that, but then they get to the end and they're like, where is it? We're going to talk about that. But that's what manifestation is, taking the intangible and making it tangible. What is a witch? So, I decided, uh, there are a lot of people that I've noticed, in certain groups and things like that, just chit chat, where they say, oh, I don't want to refer to myself as a witch, or, you know, hey, I am a witch, or whatever the case may be. But so because of this, I decided to actually Google the definition of a witch, right? Sometimes you just have to take things back to the basic, because we create definitions along the way, and sometimes they get muddled and do whatever it may be. But the definition that I found was that it's a woman thought to have magical powers, especially evil ones, popularly depicted as wearing a black cloak and pointed hat and flying on a broomstick. I kid you not. That's what I found on Google. And I was just like, okay. That's not, yeah. But let me also tell you this, and I'm reading this because I don't want to get this wrong. But according to Encyclopedia Britannica, the word comes, witch and witchcraft actually is derived from Old English, and it comes from Wicca, and Wicca is thought to, the word is masculine, which I did not know, or wiki. I'm assuming that's how you say it. I'm not 100% sure. And that word is feminine. And it's respectively denoting someone who practices sorcery, and from, or some type of craft. Okay. So, I'm not really surprised that the word Wicca, now that I think about it, is masculine, because most of the words in English are masculine, and patriarchy, and, all that whole stuff. But what I was surprised is to find that witch, the word witch, it comes from Wicca. So it's not this broad term that a lot of people had thought it to be, where a lot of people are referring to themselves as witches and such. It's a bit more specific, right? But there are other terms for witch, so that really sent me on like a little like deep dive, and I know from my own experience, and this is not reflective of the whole. So call yourself whatever you want. I don't care. I just know that for my own path, I never really vibed with the word witch, only because of the connotation that comes with it, going back to that whole pointy hat and broomstick, has nothing to do with the history of the word. So I really, I'm like, hey, I just do work. I'm just me. But if you have to put a term on it, especially like within my path of Regla de la Osha, it can be equated to, definitely not the same, equated to Olarisha, or you could be referred to as a high priestess or a priest. There's words like babalao and root worker. There's mambo, mambo and voodoo, or you have green witch, kitchen witch, whatever. Even some herbalists are considered witches. So you can see that the evolution of this word witch has come from this one little section, and is evolved into this whole big old thing. And I think it has a lot to do with people doing magic as a trend versus creating it and doing it as a lifestyle. Because what's hot and trendy right now is calling yourself a witch and you don't really know what the word is. So that's the only issue I have with that as far as the trending part. Like, it's not a trend, it's not a trend. But anyway, what I would like for you to do, going back to path and the word witch, is, take some time to dig around on Google and see what other paths may be out there or see what might pique your interest, right? Also look into some of these other words for that are synonymous, which is the best word I can use, with the word witch. So to answer the question, what do I refer to myself as? I know I kind of skipped that earlier. You can call me a root worker if you want. You can call me Olarisha. I don't really care. Some people even think psychics are witches or mediums are witches. Whatever. I'm not really hung up on titles too much, but that's what it is. All right, let's go into the next definition. What is magic with a K versus magic with no K? And this is considered an archaic spelling of magic. So what that tells me is that somewhere along the line, we dropped the K. A lot of words tend to drop letters over the course of the evolution of certain words. But really, a lot more people are picking it back up and using it, including myself, because it helps to distinguish the difference between card trick magic and spiritual magic. And so that's really what the difference is. There's nothing too much there to it. That is it. What is a spell? And so the definition is it's a form of words used as a magical charm or incantation, words uttered in a set formula with magical intent, which is also an incantation. But I like to say that a spell is more so this gathering of tools and using of words and prayer and written petitions and creating this energetic ball to create or to manifest a desired result, right? And so might have your oils, you might have your candles, you might have an incantation, you may have some dirt, you may have a little bit of everything compiled up, all of these tools to concentrate energy into this candle or bath or whatever it may be to be able to bring about a desired result. I know I just kind of repeated that, but I wanted to make sure I drove the point home. And there are other words that may be used for spell, for what a spell is. I don't usually use the word spell too much, only because what I do is work, and that is really what it is. It is work. The word spell to me, and again, you might not agree with this, and that's okay. The word spell to me sounds it's a little bit more loose. And it's in the context of the work that we do. And it sounds like teeny bopperish. That's the best way I can put it. Because it takes me back to this one particular moment in college where a friend and I were talking about a spell book that she used to have and things that she was doing while she was in high school to bring about. And that's probably where my thought form comes from, because of that one defining moment in my life. But it takes away, the word spell takes away all that goes into the work that goes behind bringing about all of these tools to create a desired result. And so I tend to use the word work. And the word work is actually more so found in hoodoo and root working and things of that nature. Some other words that you might hear is that, somebody put a root on him, or you might hear hexing or mojo or sorcery or witchery, conjuring, things of that nature. They all really mean the same thing. Yeah, they all really mean the same thing. But if you've heard anything else outside of these definitions, or if you've heard any other type of word that's used for spell, definitely put them down in the comments, because that's worth taking a look at so that we can see, what else that might be out there that I might not have covered. Okay. All right. Don't forget, to join us for the remainder of the live classes. This was a free preview of lesson 1. In order to get access to the rest of the classes, you are going to want to join our membership here on the School of Magic for Magic School at the receiver level or the master manifester level. And so that way we can continue on this learning journey. All right, I hope that each and every one of you have a beautiful day, and I will see you in the next lesson.